a few people had been asking about like tips to loot faster in PUBG, and it's been a while since we've gone over that, so I wanted to make a quick little recap of all the best ways to loot in PUBG, which ways you should not loot in PUBG, and when you should use these tips and tricks. So let's do a quick little demonstration of the TLDRs of looting in PUBG. Let's take a look. I'll show you some settings you need to make sure you have turned on, which are going to help improve and speed up your loot. A lot of this stuff is going to apply to console as well, with the exception of like the drag looting, that kind of stuff. That obviously doesn't apply to console because you can't drag and loot, but the other tips and tricks will apply to console. Okay, so all right, so first thing, settings. You're going to go turn on auto swap attachments. You know, make sure that setting is enabled. So go to gameplay function right here, auto replace attachments. You want to make sure that is enabled. And what that means is whenever you are, let's get a couple of weapons here. Let's take sure M4, and let's just say M16 as an example, right? So they come kitted out. We'll take off the attachments. All right, so let's say you're looting and you've got your M4, you already have all of your favorite attachments, and you're coming to pick up a new weapon. If you have that setting turned on, auto replace attachments, whenever you put this gun over your old gun, or if you just press F to pick it up, it's going to swap the guns and then automatically swap all the attachments that are usable for it. Any attachments that aren't usable will go to your inventory. In this case, it went down to the ground because I don't have a backpack on. So let me turn on backpack so I have space. So if we go like this, go M4, let's kit this thing out, right? All the attachments, whatever. And then if you swap the M16, boom, all the attachments already go in there. Now, why it's important you want to have that setting turned on is because when you're in the middle of looting, obviously, looting a dead body or a warehouse or something like that, you want to get in and out really quickly. Having that setting just allows you to go boop, and you're on with your life. You can get going, get reloading, and get back to the fight without having to like 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, drag that back over, all that kind of crap. Okay, so have that setting turned on, very important. The other setting, which is right below that, I do like to have it enabled. I don't think it's completely necessary, like you must do it, but it auto equip attachments from inventory. So this one right here. And why I like having this one enabled is because when you have a gun in your hand, if you just highlight the attachment, it highlights on the weapon where that attachment would go. And if you right click it, the game will automatically put it on the gun that can accept that attachment. So if I right click it, it goes to the gun, magazine goes to the gun, tac stock goes to the gun. The only time that can be a problem is if you have two guns that can both accept that attachment that you're about to right click. So I'm about to right click this extended quick draw mag. That could go to either gun. And if I right click it, you'll see it goes to the M4 first, and it only goes to the M4 first because that's the gun that's in my hand. Okay, so the game prioritizes what weapon you have in your hand, and you can see I put the M16 in my hand, and when I right click the attachment then goes to the M16, not the M4. So I do think it's a feature you still want to turn on. You got to be remembering that it's going to do that. So if you right click it, remember, oh, the gun in your hand is the primary gun that the game is looking to put attachments on. All right, so that's a settings wise, what settings you want to have turned on. Now the different kinds of looting in PUBG is F loot. So you have F loot and you have tab loot and drag and drop loot, right? So F loot is real simple. So you just like that. Can I spawn ammo? Oh, they have unlimited ammo. I can't spawn ammo in this mode anymore. Let me see if I can still demonstrate it. So you have F loot, right? So you see an item, you pick it up, press F, you press F, you press F, pick it up, right? So straightforward. That's the slowest way to loot in PUBG. And you really only want to do that if you're looking to loot like one item, or you're just not in a rush, right? If you're looking down, pick one item up, boom, you're going. Where it can be an issue is if you have multiple items on top of each other, or even worse, you have like ammo and attachments and all kinds of crap on top of each other. When you're F looting, you want to pick up the M4, like, good luck, right? You have to kind of look all around to make sure you're getting the right thing. You might get all the attachments instead. So F looting really only for individual items. that are easily like, okay, that's the thing I want, right? And what you also probably saw is arrow over some of these items. That's also a setting. I don't think I told you about that. That setting. That is highlight recommended attachments and recommended ammo. I like to have those enabled as well, because if items are stacked on top of each other, sometimes you won't be able to see everything that's under it. And so having a little arrow there is going to help you out to know what's there, especially if the item's like hiding under a gun. So I like to have that turned on as another setting, okay? So again, like I said, F looting, only when to use it for single items. Look how slow it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just slowly pick up everything. So don't F loot unless you only have like one item you want to pick up. So the problem with F looting is not only that it's slow, is that you physically have to look down at the thing you're picking up, right? So in a shooter game, you want to be able to look at where you're potentially going to be shooting, where the enemies are going to be. And if you have to constantly do this, well, then you're just always readjusting your line of sight, your vision. So those are all the negative reasons why you don't want to F loot, why you should be doing the drag and dropping from the tab loot. Again, this is not going to be for console. This part's going to be for PC, but tab looting is still good for console usage, right? Tab looting is when you have your menu up, and when you walk over the items, they'll appear in the vicinity, and you can highlight and click which items you want. So that's going to help you as well on console. But for PC, why it's very important is because you can do drag and drop looting. And this is really, really important for a number of reasons. The most important reason is for initially picking up your gun and picking up the ammo on the hot drop. This is the most important thing to do. This will save your life from being killed on the hot drops, okay? So why is this so important? And I might have a problem demonstrating this because this mode no longer allows you to drop ammo on the ground. So what I'm going to have to do is have your imagination a little bit here, okay? So with your imagination, I want you to imagine these attachments right here, the tactical stock and the red dot. Imagine that's ammo, okay? So just suspend belief for a second. That's ammo. If you were in a hot drop and you know the enemy is right here and you are both running to a gun and you maybe run into the same gun, if you run up to it and have to do this 1, 2 and then reload it and then shoot your enemy, there's a chance you're gonna die. They might pick up their gun first, they might pick up your gun first, they might pick up an SMG or a pistol that reloads faster than your gun and you die, okay? So this is why it's really important. Think that that's ammo. If you run up to it with the tab loot menu, the best way to loot in PUBG is to right click the weapon that you want to pick up and at the same time drag the ammo. In this case, it's going to be, you know, a red dot or whatever, but drag the ammo into your inventory. So you're going to, my shit's disappearing. You're going to right click and drag. Oh, see, if it was ammo, just go right there, but that's going to be a bit of an issue for this test. So I can, if I drag a little harder, I can get the game to do it. There you go. So boom. There you go. Okay, got it. So right click and drag, and then you're reloading, and now you're able to shoot faster, right? So do it again. Right click and drag. I'm right clicking the gun, and then I'm dragging the ammo, in this case a red dot. So right click, drag. They're both already attached, no other clicks needed. Your character is doing the same animation to pick up the gun, so no extra animations. That's the fastest way to do that. Now, to make it even faster, though, this is for the real pros, okay? Not only you're going to right-click the gun and the ammo, you're going to go right-click, you're going to reload, and before the reload animation's done, you're going to move the gun into the second slot. This is where it gets advanced. Into the bottom slot. Then when the ammo at the bottom of the chamber for the gun registers that ammo is in the gun, you're going to hit your put away key, and then you're going to pull out your gun again in number 2. You're going to go, in my case, it's X to put away my gun, 2 to pull back out my gun. And very important, the reason why I say this bottom slot is because in PUBG, the weapon at the top, when you pull that weapon out, whoops, when your character pulls that weapon out, he pulls it over his shoulder. Okay, so this applies to console as well, not just PC. Pulls out over the shoulder, and that is a slightly slower time delay to pull the gun out and begin reloading the gun. So if you have it down here, watch the character pull it under his shoulder. And if you time it, it's like whatever, tenths of a second, 3 tenths of a second faster to do it that way, okay? So go back to this mode. So you're at a hot drop, you right click, drag. So now you've got gun ammo. You immediately are smashing the reload key. While your character is reloading, you're dragging the gun down here. And once you're paying attention to this bottom number down here, once that 30, or once it goes from 0 to 30, then you X2 to pull the gun out, and then, or put the gun away, then pull it back out. That cancels the rest of the reload animation, allowing you to then shoot. Okay, so you have to practice that to get it good. But so you're gonna right click, drag, reload, drag down, X2, and you're shooting. I'll do it again. Right click, drag, reload, down, X2, shooting. Versus, oh shit, hot drop. Need to get my gun. Need to get my ammo. Shit, reload. And I can shoot. See how much slower that is compared to, boom, dragging it, reload, swap down, X2. So you're saving yourselves, tenths of a second at a time doing all those things, but you add them up, and now you're getting your gun way faster than your enemy. And in some cases, you can beat them even if they have a gun that reloads faster than you. So if they pick up an SMG that has a lower reload speed, or faster reload speed, I should say, you still could beat them if they're doing the lazy way and you're doing the pro way with that kind of looting, okay? So that's really important for hot drop situations. And that also can come into play if, in some cases, you and an enemy are both going towards the same gun. This happens a lot on hot drops, right? You parachute, you both land, you look over, ship. That guy, you both see the same gun. You're sprinting for the gun. You pull up, you're fumbling, what do I do? Or you're trying to do this, you're trying to F loot, but you're both trying to pick the stuff up at the same time. If you right click the item and drag the ammo, chances are you're going to get both things before the enemy, or you at least get one of the things and the enemy will get the other. So they might get the gun, you get the ammo, or you get the gun and they get the ammo sometimes, which obviously is not ideal, but it's better than them getting the gun and the ammo, right? That's why I say always do the drag and drop looting. And especially for hot drops, you want to right click and drag. So practice that. Right click, drag. And pay attention to how far you have to drag it too. So right click, drag. You don't have to drag it so far over. Like the game considers this inventory and then this vicinity, right? So right click, drag. You just right there. It's all you got to go to. Right click, drag. Right click, drag. Okay. And then your X2, you want to get that muscle memory down. X2, X2, X2. Quickly pull that gun away and pull it back out. Okay. If you watch any, pro players or any streamers, we do drive-bys. We always put that gun down here. Or if you're doing like a sniper buy, you want that gun down here because this is the gun you're going to pull out the fastest. Okay. So that's why I always have like my main gun down here and my sniper up here. Like whatever my close range weapon is, I put that down here. Some people like it the other way. That's personal preference, but this slot 2 is always going to be the fastest weapon that you can pull out. All right, so that's the drag and drop loot method. That's the F loot method. And I do want to cover a couple of problems with drag and drop, right? So let's go. One of the problems with dragging and dropping is that, like I was just explaining, how you don't have to move it all over the place because like the game tells you, all right, if you drop this item anywhere in here, it's going to go to the ground. Like if I drop it up here, down here, any of that, the game knows it's going to the ground, right? When I go to the inventory, if I go anywhere in here, it goes to your inventory. But if you come out here, here's inventory, here's on the gun. So inventory, but if I go just one little smidge out, it's going to the gun. A problem with right click and drag method. So a problem with doing this, the right click and drag, could be if you're on high ping. I know some of you guys play on high ping, and obviously a lot of it's out of your control. But if you have to play on high ping, you will find that if you right click and drag too fast, the game will not register one of your requests. It won't know that you're trying to pick up the gun, or it won't know you're trying to pick up the ammo. One of the two may happen. So you have to be mindful of that. Right click and dragging can be an issue on high ping. So in some of those cases, it's actually better to F loot. But obviously you're at a disadvantage if you do that. Especially now that PUBG has added trunks to so many vehicles with the update like 34.1 or 0.2 very recently. A lot of the cars now have trunk space in it. And different cars have different size trunk space. So the bigger the car, the bigger the trunk. And this, for an example, if you go there, you could slide your weapon right into there, right? You can slide individual attachments in there. And of course, if you put the weapon and all the attachments, it takes up more space. So like, you know, just a red dot is 10. Take that off. The M4 by itself is 100. If you put all the attachments on the M4, then put it in there, 126. So you can really utilize this for like ammo and for heals and stuff. So if I go to healing items, some first aids. So let's say you got some first aid. Where'd those go? Okay. So you got some first aids and you want to put them in the trunk, which by the way, you can just be near the trunk. You don't have to like be in the car. You can put them right there and they're in the trunk now. Any of your teammates hop in, they can pick that up. But a couple of little tricks with dropping items is if you hold the item, like left click the item, hover over where you're going to drop it, and you hold the control key, this little box will pop up and it'll ask you what specific number of items you want to drop. So you can drop anywhere between 1 and obviously the full 7. What some people like to do is quickly be able to drop half of their items. So like, especially if you're driving, if I'm driving, a squad's in the car. All right. So when you're in a vehicle and you're driving, the only thing you can do is drop a specific number of items or all of them. So you can drop them in there. Then your teammate, you know, can request how many they want out of that. And then you get the rest. Like they can hold control. If you saw what I just did, I'm holding control. If you're the passenger princess right here, hold control. You drag it into your inventory. The message pops up. How many do you want? You tell them how many. Then your driver can pull back in the rest of theirs. But if you're driving, Brandon, you can't drop half. What you can do is pull half from the trunk, but it doesn't let you put half in the trunk, which is unfortunate. So I'm holding Alt and I right click and I get half. Holding Alt, I'm right clicking, I get half. I hold Control and I drag, I tell it how many I want. Okay, so Control is specific number, Alt and right click is half. Alt, right click, half, Control is specific number. Okay, so that's some critical need to know thingies. A care package situation. So trying to think how I can demonstrate that in this mode. Let's assume this is a care package, right? Let's do that. So assume this vehicle is a care package. So let's go inventory. I'm gonna put just whatever, 2 more guns in my inventory. It doesn't matter. So you got your loadout and you're heading to the care package, right? Remember I was saying earlier how the game prioritizes what's in your hand? When you're going to the care package, you want to make sure that you have the gun in your hand that you want to swap. Now, obviously, sometimes you don't know what it's going to be, but sometimes you might. Your buddy might tell you there's an AWM in the package or whatever. You're just assuming that it's going to be one of your guns. So have whatever that gun is in your hand. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, when you get to the care package, what I talked about earlier about fast looting on the ground applies to care package as well. So first thing you want to do when you get to a care package is always grab the helmet. That's the very first thing you do before you do anything else, because if you stop at a care package, whether you're crouched or whatever, your chances of getting headshot go up 1,000-fold, right? So the first thing you do is you grab the helmet, you right click it. You don't need to drag it, you just right click, boom, helmet there. What I do is right click and drag the vest over as quickly as possible. So you get both as quickly as possible. You get your protection from a headshot, and then you get your tanky boy vest. Now, the last thing I would do to get out of the care package as quickly as possible is you could take this weapon and drag it over whichever one you want to go to, right? So like, let's say You thinking, oh, this is my barrel replacement. You drag it over that. All the attachments swap over because of that setting we turned on earlier. So all the attachments swap over and you're good. You're ready to roll. You can run away and reload, do your thing. What I do though, to avoid having to drag it, is I right click the gun in the care package while having the gun equipped in my hand that I want to replace. So I see it's a barrel. I want to replace my M4. I right click it. The game automatically swaps whatever gun in your hand with the gun in the crate. Now, if I wanted to replace the AK, I couldn't just right click it because it's going to replace the gun in my hand every time. I would have to physically go over here and swap it to replace that one. And then of course, all the attachments, replace for that gun too. So that is just something that's going to save, a fraction of a second of your time running into a care package, sitting there going, oh, what's this? What's this piece of candy? But it could save your life. If no one is around, it's fine. No, that's the worst advice I've ever heard anyone ever give. There's never anyone around. That's why it always seems fine. No, terrible advice. Always assume somebody has a sniper rifle pointed at your head when you run into a care package. Okay, always. To take it one step further, this really isn't part of reloading, but if you're also going to be, I can't throw smoke grenades on the training mode. This whole training mode stinks. But if you're going to go into a care package, a good rule of thumb is always throw a smoke grenade at the package before you get there. So like if you're running up on it, throw a smoke grenade a good distance away so the smoke grenade has time to billow out and create a little safe place. I also do a smoke drive-by. So if I'm in the vehicle, I will seat swap, pull out my smoke grenade, and throw it at the care package as I'm pulling up to the care package, just to give me a little bit extra protection. Okay. So yeah, worst piece of advice. If it looks clear, you're dead. Always assume someone's looking at you. So right click, drag. Now you're safe. Now go for the gun. Okay. So always right click, drag. The helmet first. Number one thing, always helmet. Why? Because the helmet can save you from a headshot from a sniper rifle. Okay. So that's what you want to do. We talked about F looting, single looting. We talked about drag and drop. I told you the settings I think you should all turn on and why they improve your gameplay. And we talked about some of the hotkeys like alt right click, control, dragging for a specific number of items, how to utilize a trunk to help you and your teammates, how to use a care package properly, how to loot a care package properly, how to quick swap weapons. I think that's kind of all of the critical need to know things for looting. And I guess the last little thing I'll leave you with this when it comes for looting is just inventory management. And this, you can get into a rabbit hole in this discussion, but a lot of people like to ask me, CDome, what do you keep in your inventory? Well, let's just give you a typical loadout. So let's say I'm playing for a win, right? I'm trying to get a dub. I got a barrel because I love the barrel, love the skin. Let's go ahead and get my attachments on there. So let's just say boom, boom, boom. I got that. And then I would rock usually a bolt if I'm playing solos. Go sniper. Let's just say I got an AWM. I just got a care package. I'm feeling fat and frisky. I got level 3. I'm geared out of my mind, right? What would I have in my inventory? Well, in solos, I'd like to have 4 to 5 first aids. 4 to 5 first aids. If I only have 4 first aids, I would like to also have a med kit in there. Then I would always like to have at least 1 frag grenade, minimum 1. I like to have 2. But the most important thing with grenades is the heaviest grenade you have in your inventory, you want to equip it on your side satchel. Look at the bottom of my character. See that grenade floating? That means it's equipped to my side satchel and it's not taking any inventory space up from my backpack, which is critical because frag grenades weigh a lot. They weigh 27 capacity, right? The only time you don't want to have a frag grenade equipped down there is if you have C4, which is that not in this mode either. So C4 is even heavier than a frag grenade. So if you had C4, you would want that equipped here and the rest in your inventory. Okay. So if you don't have C4, always put 1 frag grenade here and the rest of the stuff you can let it just kind of take up the space. So an ideal loadout for me is 2 frag grenades, 1 in the satchel, 1 in my inventory. For smoke grenades, I honestly say 4 smokes minimum. I can't obviously equip those because of this mode, but I like to say 4 smoke grenades minimum, at least 1 stun grenade, because one stun grenade can help you win a close quarters fight, and chances are you'll probably pick up another one, you know, looting that body or something like that. But one stun grenade in case you got to do a quick little peek, clear a building, whatever. One Molotov, and I like 2 blue zone grenades. Now this is a nice to have. If I have level 3 backpack, 2 blue zone grenades is nice because you can out heal 1 blue zone grenade, which I don't even think that gun is in, or that grenade's in here. It's not. So if someone throws a blue zone grenade on you, you can sit inside of the blue zone grenade and just first aid and be fine, assuming you're full health. So don't freak out if someone pushes your building and throws a blue zone. You can just literally sit still and first aid through it. You will survive the blue zone damage, and then you'll be healed back up, okay? Knowing that, I like to have 2 BZ nades. So if you knock somebody, you can push that building and throw 2 BZ grenades on top of each other. And if you do that, there's no way to out heal that, and the people will die from that. So that's why I like to have 2 BZs and only 1 molly versus having 2 mollies and 1 BZ. And then of course, ammo is a big thing. This mode has infinite ammo, so I can't put any in my inventory. But if I'm gonna rock an AR and a bolt, I think 150 rounds is plenty. Like assuming this is a Card 98, not an AWM, right? So assuming that is a 7.62 sniper, having 150 between both of these guns is plenty for solos. Now you might think, see, I'm like a lot more. That's fine. You can have a lot more, but 150 is plenty. And if you're not going to kill somebody with 150 rounds, the ammo is not the issue, right? You're going to be able to loot more 7.62 or more 5.56. Now, if you had a DMR and an AR, I would say more than 150 for sure in that case, because a bolty, you really only need like 30, 40 bullets. 30 or 40 bullets. So if you have a DMR, assuming you're going to be popping off a lot of shots with that DMR, yeah, then 200 plus is what I would carry for ammo, whether it's 7.62 or 5.56. So that, again, is a quick, maybe not so TLDR of best ways to loot in PUBG, how to improve your looting strategies, how to get you quicker on a hot drop and quicker at a care package, and how to avoid some of the rookie mistakes that some people still make. So if you enjoyed that, give it a thumbs up, share it with a buddy, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are watching live, of course, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below.